put in a house where you don't know anyone in a community that you've never been before. Now this is the life of Janice Goldsberry, a foster child from South Florida. Today I'm going to talk to you about how Florida's privatized foster care system is failing many of their children. The reason why I'm credible to talk on this subject is because my mom, who recently just produced a movie called Foster Shock, and it examines the state's privatized foster care system. And many of the children who go through the system I've actually had personal conversations with. So there are 3 reasons why the privatized system is failing the children. The first reason is that through privatization, there are salary expenses that are unnecessarily high for these private company CEOs and like chief financial officers and so forth. So the wealth isn't being distributed to the kids enough. The second reason is that these companies require very little background check on who becomes a foster parent. So many of these foster parents are very unqualified. And the final reason is just the overall lack of care that these children receive from the foster companies. So why you guys should care is because Florida was the first state to privatize foster care, and after that, many other states continue to do it. And so pretty much these foster cares are ran by private companies and controlled by them and not by the government. So, to continue, so going back to point 1, these private companies receive a combined $3.5 billion a year from the government spread throughout Florida. And so these CEOs of these companies, literally, some of them, their salaries are up to $800,000 a year, while these kids literally have nothing to live off of. So while these CEOs get their nice paycheck, many kids struggle for money so much that they resort to deviant acts such as stealing and prostitution. So on to my second point, there's little to no vetting on who becomes a foster parent. So these companies require like very little background check, and it leads to thousands of foster parents that are super unqualified. And there's even been cases of these foster parents hoarding the money that they're given from these companies for the kids and keeping it for themselves and not distributing to the kids, leaving these kids hungry and once again having to resort to other deviant acts to find me. On to my last point, the overall lack of care that these children receive, not just from the foster parents, but from the company and everyone. They have no one. And it's resulting in these sad statistics. 1 in 5 children who go through Florida foster care will become homeless after the age of 18. 95% will never earn a college degree. 50% will not graduate from high school and will be unemployed by the age of 24. 40% will depend on government assistance, and 70% of women will become pregnant by the age of 21. Some foster care children I've met with have told me that they have lived in up to 17 homes throughout their childhood. This is just plain ignorance by these companies. So now, as you can see, a large portion of foster care of Florida foster children in Florida have been forgotten in the system, living in several homes throughout their childhood, being neglected, and lacking people who truly care for them, like every child deserves and needs. Unfortunately, this is due to the private foster care companies not putting their wealth towards their children, not requiring proper background checks for foster parents, and not giving each and every child the levels of care that they deserve. If more states continue to privatize foster care, then we will see what is happening in Florida around the country. Now, the future of not only these children's lives, but our lives as well, will depend on how we raise our future generations to support themselves and our economy.